Hey Flames fans, time for a Flames Unfiltered Shorts. As I sit on a Friday, just got done eating some lunch, getting ready for a big junior hockey game tonight. And of course, Flames are on the island tomorrow. That should be a good matchup. And Flames Twitter, or Flames X, I guess you want to call it, is going crazy today with the Markstrom talk. Eric Francis reported yesterday that, that the Flames haven't talked to Markstrom, but Markstrom made it sound like it's the ball's in the Flames court. And in a way, the way it was worded gave us thought that he was open to maybe a move. And it got me thinking about, do we want to move Jacob Markstrom? Do we really think that is the best option? And I'm not saying it isn't or is. I think it's something, though, that with the way we are in Calgary now of bringing in young assets and making sure we move out our older long-term players and the whole youth movement, right? That's worked out very well this year, and I'm very happy with it. But I think you got to be careful on how far you take that. Carolina and New Jersey need a goalie. And last night's game in New Jersey made that even glaringly obvious that the Devils need a goalie. Markstrom has 2 years left after this year with Calgary at $6 million per year. And I really wonder what decision would be the best. I personally lean to keep him. And here's why I say that. A tandem of Wolf and Markstrom for the next 2 seasons, splitting games, looks pretty appealing to me. Now, Markstrom has been proven that he is better when he gets rest. We've seen that multiple times. Wolf, we need to work into this and get him in. I guess what I'm saying is I'm very hesitant to bring in Wolf and say, hey, here's 62 games, go out and win us and get us into the playoffs. And also when you're dealing with a young group like the Flames roster is going to be because of all the moves we've made and the youth movement that we're on, it's going to be really critical that you have good goaltending to show progress, to show success. I saw a tweet today that said, without Markstrom, the Flames are the Sharks. Well, I don't know if we're that bad, but you know what? It scares me a little bit. Now, we're happy as heck because we get wins in Boston and New Jersey. And I love those games. They're probably the 2 of the more entertaining games I've watched this year for Calgary. And we're excited about it, and we should be. But Markstrom was really good. And I don't think if Markstrom's even average that we win both of those games. We maybe would get one of them. Will we have a Markstrom-Vladar pairing next year? No, something's got to get done. I don't think the return on Vladar is going to be what we want it to be. But I think making a decision with him and maybe just taking a 7th-round pick, or I hate to do it, but placing him on waivers, isn't the end of the world, right? We didn't pay a lot for him, and he did what he was supposed to do, and that was a stopgap backup goalie. And that's exactly what he did for us. And I like Dan Vladar. But I think next year, going with Markstrom and Wolf would help the progress of a retool, I guess if you want to call it, a lot better. Look at Vancouver, for example. They retooled on the fly here the last couple of years, but they had Thatcher Demko in net. When Thatcher Demko was injured, that team really, really struggled. When Thatcher Demko was healthy, that team was pretty good during this retool. Now, Vancouver's retool is a little bit different than traditional ones, so I'll give you a little pass there. But I've heard a lot of people say, well, we need to retain some money on Markstrom and just get maximum assets. Well, what are we looking for in maximum assets? And one other thing you got to take into consideration when you retain money, let's say we retain half of it. So we retain 3. We have to do that for the next 2 years after this too. You can't just retain on this year and then have the next team who gets them pick up the full salary of the final 2 years. Something to take into consideration. I feel like if this was going to happen, it's going to be more of an off-season thing and more of a hockey trade where the Flames get players that we can plug right into the roster right away. I guess time will tell on that. And I understand the excitement in Calgary to bring in all this youth. And I'm all for that. But draft picks aren't guarantees. And when you have a goaltender like Markstrom who wants to be in Calgary, don't forget that. We all prayed and hoped we could sign Markstrom just a few years ago. Now we have a goalie who likes it in Calgary and is willing to be here with this youth to progress us further, and then Wolf take over in 2 years on a 100% basis. I don't know. I look at the tandem in Boston, how that's worked the last 2 years. And I look at the Wolf-Markstrom tandem that we could have next year, and I'm pretty excited about that. Really excited about that. So let's really think about if moving Jacob Markstrom and what return we would get is really worth losing what he brings and how he helps this organization. Check out Flames Unfiltered every week with Kyle Lewis and I talk Flames hockey every single week. Podcasts drop on Thursday mornings. Check us out each and every week. FlamesUnfiltered.com. Have a good weekend, Flames fans. Some big games out in New York.